think between jobs they never think they're going to work again. It's just it's the insecurity of the actor. So I keep telling Sharon we should do a thing together because we have fun doing it, and people still do care about her and care about the show. And so thank you all for those of you who mentioned it. I appreciate she hears that. I hope she hears you and actually.
There she is.
There's Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Hey, everybody. Well, wow. Sharon, Barney, I just have to say, I'm a huge fan of Barney and Lacey. Ever since I was a little girl in school, I would do, like, Mom, I can't do my homework right now. I have to watch this show. And talk about a pioneer for all women. It was just a time when it was so exciting. I'm sure that show made young girls feel like not only could they be actresses, but they could be police officers. And so anyway, I wanted to comment on a few things that you guys said and then ask a question. Sharon, I agree with you when you said, Antoinette, no one has asked questions like this, and this is one of the best interviews. I mean, we lost Barbara Walters, but everyone, I want to point out a little fact that Barbara Walters and Antoinette have the same birthday.
Okay, Barbara Walters and you have
Antoinette. So let's make the next Barbara Walters with Antoinette.
Who's in the studio?
But I wanted to talk about the love story a little bit between you two. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm straining to hear you.
Yeah. Well, Sharon, when you were saying, yeah, sometimes I still feel bad, I get that. But when it comes to love and some other things in life, there's an old Scottish saying, what's meant for you won't pass you by. And you two are meant to be together. That's clear. And that's one thing I wanted to say. And then, Barney, I don't know if you do. I'm a writer, and I never feel lonely because I'm with me and all these characters. So I love that you said that.
Where are you?
I'm in LA, but I'm from New York.
You're in LA?
Yeah.
New York.
I'm from New York, but I live in LA. And Sharon, this is something I wanted to ask you because, I could see why Barney fell in love with you. I mean, I was a little girl. I was in love with you. But how did it feel to know that the work that you were doing at that time was, I don't know if it felt like a responsibility, but you were a pioneer to break through women's roles, acting, and also showing characters that women hadn't played on television. So what did it feel like to be the first one doing that?
I have to tell you the truth. I wasn't aware the impact we were having at the time that we were doing it. Didn't ask what the ratings were, Tyne and I. We were so busy putting in 16 hours a day, Barney.
Yep.
We just worked constantly. I was very happy doing it. I knew there was nothing else like it on television, but I never was able to get an ego because our job was just to deliver those wonderful scripts. And so I didn't know the impact we were having.
You have to understand something, Trish.
How do you feel now?
Now I feel really wonderful knowing what we did, what we had, the impact we had, the lives we changed. At the time, we just didn't know. Up on the soundstage for 6 years.
That's the operative word, locked up. I say in my book, the two women were in jail. I was the light that came in through the bars. I was the one who got to go to the parties. I was the one who got the bail. I was the one who read the reviews. I was the one who knew what was happening. And I was very much in the present and appreciated it. And so I would come and tell them about it, but they were getting it all secondhand. And so it was a very different
Well,
I mean,
great job. Groundbreaking, Barney.
Yeah, cool.
Created, and then it was just, it was, I always say, I ran longer than you even knew. Not only did it for your show, but it brought both of you the love of your life. So God bless.
Thank you, Trish.
It's my life too, as I'm sure. But
Yeah.
we didn't know until later the impact we were having with the.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh my God! Thank you. It's so nice to hear it after all these years.
All right. Okay,
Thank you,
bye,
Trish.
Sharon.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Trish.
Woohoo. How about Alan Tabanella can come on? Roxanne Hunt, Maureen. Is anybody ready to come on? Those questions are glorious.
Yeah, this is awesome. I can read while we wait. I could read a question. We have tons of questions in the. Okay, so Gina says, been a Sharon fan since I was 15. I've met you twice and couldn't have had a better experience. I've experienced. Hold on one second here. Sorry, hold on. The comments keep on coming in and I'm losing my. Yeah, sorry, Gina. The comments keep on just. Yeah, so thank you, Sharon, for being my hero and making our meet and greets better than I've ever imagined. You probably don't remember me. We met in Florida at Disney World in 1992 and got a picture. But she
Oh,
said
you remember that, Sharon? Come on.
you and I and Barney in the pic in you and I and Barney was in the background.
Always.
Well,
my
nice
fate.
of you to remember.
In life.
Oh, that's
VG.
not. Thank you for remembering.
How about
Okay, so,
Maureen? Let's bring Maureen on.
Okay, Maureen, if you can press the call in button.
Maureen was on the screen when we first were on.
Would be, yeah. Maureen or any of the just press the call in button and we will zap you in.
God,
Okay, we got Maureen. There we
Maureen!
go.
Oh
Maureen.
God! I'm getting a WhatsApp from Antoinette at the same time. Sorry about that. So, pardon?
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. I just want to first of all congratulate Sharon and Barney on their 32nd wedding anniversaries this week.
Tomorrow.
And
You guys remember? Are you celebrating?
32nd,
Yeah,
I think.
sure we are. We have 2 dates. We have
Yes.
2 dates.
The first and the fourth.
We got married twice. First and the fourth. Very good, Maureen. Yeah.
Yes, I've been reading all your books.
On the fourth, we're going to Joe's Stove for dinner. 2 of us. Actually, we're going
Lovely.
with old friends of ours, another couple. So to help us celebrate.
Good. And I also want to thank Barney for his strength and perseverance, because without him, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
True. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And my question now, my real question now is for Sharon. It's to do with the episode Turn 2. Okay. And you said that Barney shot it in sequence. Okay.
Once I entered my apartment.
Yes.
The last,
yes.
let's say, third of
The
the
last 15 minutes or so. Well, it's very harrowing to watch Christine disintegrating, and I just wondered how long did it take, and were there any retakes, and how battered phically and mentally were you after it was over? Because it's a brilliant performance.
I don't remember being battered afterwards. I'm so grateful to Barney for putting it in sequence, because in that kind of work, you've got to be able to progress. Gotten that far, and you have so far to go. pace yourself, I've just seen it recently. So I'm very grateful for what you're saying, because it really does play. I think it took us maybe 3 days in my loft.
It strains my memory to. I would just correct. We didn't do any retakes. That would imply we put it together, and then so we have to fix things. It was all there. Sharon did the work when she was asked.
When I was with the writers, I asked them to put a particular the script that was not in, because I knew our director Sharon Miller, my director in that episode, would not think that I wanted to. She sticks to. And by sitting on the floor with my head on the couch, I asked that in, because when you're really loaded,
Yes,
you get the whirlies, and you
do.
So I had to be grounded on the floor and just put my head on the, and so the writers put it in. Let me do it. But there was one scene I wanted in the script, and it's when she hears that she missed celebration party that Mary Beth had. It wasn't Sergeant, but she had, been promoted, and Cagney said drunk, she forgets to go to the party. So I go to my closet to try and get, and it was one of those sliding mirrors. I said, Sharon, I said to the director, here's what I want to do. I was so into it. I said, closet door, and it just slides, and I slide with it. Just boom, onto the ground. Okay? She said, no, you're going to get her. I won't get her. Just look, it's a great shot. Anyway, I was so shot in sequence. I was okay, but that was one that I thought would have been perfect for her.
That's I thought you might have ended up being bruised because you're rolling around on the floor with Stephen Mack at one point, and then there's another time when Tyne pushes you against the kitchen cupboard, and when I see that point in the little fight towards the end of the scene, I always go ouch, because you hit that thing, and I'm thinking you must have had a bruise the next day.
Not that I remember. I'm a pro, and I know how to take a hit. So I would.
Good old days before blood thinners. So we were all young. We could take it.
I didn't get hurt, but I remember it was nothing, because Cagney was so. I did that with no booze. I just want you to know, I was not drinking.
I know. Yeah.
But the press were saying his life image loaded when she did those famous scenes, and I was terrible.
No.
Right. Well, I ended up in rehab, several months later, and when they went after me. But thank you so much, Maureen, for saying. Very proud of that episode, those 2 episodes.
Well, yeah, it's brilliant. So thank you very much.
Thank you for noticing.
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Maureen.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Beautiful. Wow.
Okay. So
that's somebody who knows every detail of
She noticed. She noticed.
Yeah. Do we have Alan Tabanella to come on?
Alan's saying there is no call-in button, so I told him to, he can go.
Oh, I can just give him the guest link. Okay.
Yeah, give him the guest link.
Let's. Is there anybody that we can bring on that in our list?
I see Renee Taylor in the comment section.
Oh my God!
Hey there! Hi, Renee.
So we'll see if we can get her on. If Renee, if you can press the call in button. If not, I can send you a direct link.
Okay, that's okay. I can send. Is Renee going to be on her phone?
Possibly.
Okay.
I see Renee. She asked a question, but I didn't. Let me just pull up.
Renee's my dear friend.
can I pull up some questions here? So Jackie says, Ryan, did you see my comment? I am a friend of Sharon's and arranged the C&L BFI British Film Institute event in London for her. Barney and Tyne a few years ago. It was completely sold out, and I'm sure another one would be again.
Hi, Jackie.
Who's this? Was this Jackie?
Yeah, it's Jackie.
Oh, hi, Jackie. Jackie Denson.
Jackie Denson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
She say yes.
Well, yeah. Big friend of ours. Good fan of the show. Very
Yeah.
helpful. And that event she's talking about was fabulous, and you can see that. I know we put I think the entire interview with Sharon and Tyne and myself, and I forget the name of the woman who was a very good moderator. We put that on video in the collection, the Cagney and Lacey collection. So it's in there as an add-on feature. And I wouldn't be surprised, somewhere on the internet you could probably pick it up also. I wouldn't know how to do that.
That
the British British Film Institute, and it was about, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. It was a wonderful evening. I remember it was raining, and there was, not only were we sold out, but the people were lined up around the block hoping to get any cancellations. It was a big and a very nice event. Very nice event.
Sure was.
I think Renee Taylor said she wanted to know, Sharon, would you do a one-woman show?
Oh, Renee wants me to do a one-woman show. And she's been for years and a dear friend, and keep encouraging me, Renee.
Oh no.
Renee, write the script.
Yeah.
So we have Pam. Pam is coming in.
Wonderful.
No one knows theater better than Renee Taylor.
Hi.
Speaking of one of them shows, Renee Taylor's got a great show called My Life on a Diet.
Diet, brilliant.
I've seen it 6 times. It's fabulous. She's great in it.
These are cool. This is good.
Hi,
man.
Pam.
Sharon and Barney. And
Hi, Pam.
Hi,
I
Pam.
need my PJs.
I'm in Vegas. Well, it's good. You can lose your shirt.
On.
What's your
Look,
question?
I took a nap and it was noon, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get up. And I'm old, and I was gonna meet up with Dawn, and I'm in Vegas, and it just didn't.
Left Vegas.
I know we were gonna meet up, but it didn't work out with our schedules. But what I wanted to ask Sharon and Barney is, who were the stunt doubles, especially that one scene, that episode? I can't remember the number or the name. When Dory was on coke, and you two were fighting, and
Wasn't that great?
Yeah. I could
I've
see you
never
throwing
seen-
a punch.
I mean, I've never seen a female do that kind of fighting. It was police trained,
Oh, well, yeah.
not scratching the eyes out kind of female thing.
You were trained?
Police fighting, and we had, I don't know who they were. I had a stunt double for all those years.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. Oh, but you were trained to like throw that punch and stuff,
Oh
Sharon?
my God, they were such police women, police.
Good.
One man and one woman having a brutal fight where they could throw each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
You guys are really going at it, and he picked
Yeah.
you up. Well,
The good sequence.
I mean, obviously, I had a stunt. Yes.
yeah, because he threw. I don't know if it was him even, and I kind of framed it, and I'm like, that's not. Well, of course, that's not you. You're not going to do that.
No, but I-
have him throw
What- Feelings.
Yeah, well, then they showed you on the ground, and you were like, yeah, all curled up, and I'm like, oh, I call you Sharona.
Thank you. Do you know what that's
So
my makeup man on Acadian Lacey called?
Jerome.
Really?
My-
I thought I'd be
That's what I'm sorry. He called me Sharon.
no,
He calls me Sharon.
Sharona.
Sharon.
From the Knack.
Sharona. That's right.
That's where I got it from. Because I noticed like Rosie's with Glessy and all that. I'm like, I want to be different. And then I called Dawn Donsky. Because when I
You?
like,
Oh,
yeah, like I use names. I'm trying to bring you into my little friend network. I don't know. Because
thank you, Pam.
I've spent a lot of time in Florida. And I always hope that somehow when you're doing something and Dawn's doing something, I can go there. You know, my mom will go.
Oh, I'm in Vegas with Dawn, but not as often anymore.
I know you are. I can see it. But, you know, you guys are watching concerts, and I don't want to be like, oh, what can I be? You know, that sounds stupid. You two are friends, you know. I'm just kind of on the sidelines.
Well,
Thank you so much, Pam.
yeah,
Thank you
you're.
so much.
You
Thanks,
know,
Pam.
Love you guys.
Thank you. And hey, Alan, you're upside down. Can you move your camera? Thank you.
Enjoy Vegas, Pam.
Alan Tabanella, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been enjoying it. This is a program.
Your sound is covered, I think, Al.
Okay. Sorry.
Garbled.
Better?
Better.
A little bit better.
A little better? Okay. My question goes to what kind of, I see Sharon can't hear me. Can you hear me, Sharon?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. My question goes kind of to like what Trish was saying earlier. I started watching the show when I was in my early to mid 20s, and I thought that this was something that I'd never seen before, groundbreaking, because traditionally those roles were played by men, detective shows, police shows. So my question is, there was no email obviously back then. When you got fan mail, was there any pushback on the dynamic of having two women as detectives, or was it all positive?
when we got fan mail, was there any?
Was there any pushback because of the dynamic of having two women in that role, or was it all positive?
The fan mail that I saw was all positive.
That's great. That's great.
Mostly women for me, for my character. China got several men right here, female, but they were so excited that they were seeing themselves portrayed the life they'd like to pursue. Barney said in a fairer world they could have worked at a post office because not
Right.
about they were cops. In fact, I've seen a lot of shows before. They never went into the personal lives of the men.
Right.
Seated arts.
Yeah, I'm a man and I love the show. I'm just curious. I would be curious to know what the men of that time thought about that show.
Yeah.
Barney may know better.
The mail that we got was almost 70% female. However, that said, also the mail was about 99% positive.
That's great.
And it was very unique kind of email. Also, it was fan mail. It was not written in Crayola saying "I kiss my pillow every night." 70 or 50. We were getting fan mail that said that was good stationery. Much of it was typewritten, and it was clearly. We discovered ultimately they were from the better zip codes of America, the more highly educated. More affluent communities. In other words, where people were Madison Avenue wanted to sell their product. So even though our numbers were not great, the kind of people were the very people that Madison Avenue was very interested in getting.
Yeah.
So that helped make us successful.
35 million, great number.
What?
35 million isn't great numbers.
Well, that was later. That was not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Off the air.
I paid less attention to the fan mail at the end. By the time we were successful, I mind the fan mail, to make arguments for why they should keep us on the air. You know,
Amazing.
so and the early fan mail was what was important to me. That was the stuff. In fact, the way the story was, I came back from New York where we had been canceled, and there were about a dozen letters from fans saying how much they liked the show. They didn't know we'd been canceled. These were, and I wrote each one of them back personally, a different email, a different letter for each one of them, thanking them, saying, unfortunately, CBS has decided not to go on with the show, and that was the end of it. And about the time I finished that, a guy arrived at my office with a huge box filled with letters, all written to CBS. And these people knew about the cancellation, and they were pissed off.
Wow.
And CBS doesn't know what to do with the mail, so they sent it on to me. We don't want the mail. They just threw it on me. They don't read it. And I looked at all that mail. There was no way I could answer them personally. It was thousands of letters, or 1,000 letters anyway. And I wrote a form letter, and I had a moment of mischievousness as I wrote the letter. I thought, I said, my perception is no one at CBS has read this letter. But if you're really angry about it, you want to do something about it, write another letter to the New York Times or the LA Times and your local newspaper. Because CBS may not read their name, but they do read their newspapers. And people took me up on it. And the next thing that happened was this incredible avalanche of mail took place that summer. I mean, it was a challenge. I had each one of those letters had to be hand addressed by my then young assistant, the secretary. Orion, who financed the show, would not give me the money for stamps. So we used all the stamps, and then I bought the stamps myself.
It's cheap.
About $400 worth of stamps. So off the letters went, and the rest, as they say, is history. I created a campaign to bring the show back, and the show was literally brought back from the dead. We had been canceled. The sets had been deconstructed. The actors had been let go from their contracts. And that summer, the show became #1 in the nation as a result of the letter writing campaign and all that stuff. And CBS had to call me up and say, basically, we made a mistake. Can you put it back together again? It was a very heady moment, I got to tell you. The best, absolutely the best. So
power of the pen, I guess, right?
Well, so mail is, I love questions about the mail because our fan mail was absolutely essential. But I having said that, I cannot for the life of me tell you what the fan mail was like in the last 4 years, because then we were off and running, and I was busy making the show, and I was not paying as much attention to that. I put someone in charge of fan mail. I put a young girl in charge of fan mail, and that was her job on the show. And last summer, Sharon and I are watching a show called Outlander on Netflix, which is a great show.
I know the show well.
Yeah, well, Tony Graffia is the executive producer, and she was the young girl who did the fan mail. And she said she learned how to be a producer. She learned how to put together a show and to care about the fans from watching me and watching how we worked on our series.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to speak to you guys.
I told that mail story yet, so that's it just happened. Thank you
very much.
Where's the fan mail now?
What?
Where's the fan mail?
I have no idea.
I think they all died.
I can barely answer my own mail,
I know.
I tell you, I love being retired. I love not having to work, but I miss staff. Boy, do I miss having people like Tony Graffia, people like that around me. You just take care of, because I delegate real well, but I got nobody to delegate to anymore, except to Sharon, and she doesn't take orders very well.
To me?
Right, you.
Yeah, no. Well, thank you, Alan.
Thank
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We have time for one more question. Are you guys good to go for a little bit longer?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassingly great.
Okay, so
Me too.
we do have a comment in the comment section. Mary says hi. Hi, Sharon. I'd like to say to Sharon and Barney, thank you always for portraying female police officers in such a great light. I'm a retired police officer and loved their portrayals from Mary Lee.
Hi, Mary.
Wow. Wow.
Is that the Mary? You know, I want to. You know, it's a sad day when I forget the line where it comes from. I mean, I remember the line. I don't remember where it comes from. But when you know your fans by name, you know you're near.
A friend of ours from Maine.
Yeah, we know Mary Lee for a long time. Wonderful young woman.
If we're in the same city, we
That's awesome.
Mary Lee.
And then if anyone else who has a question that we've approved, please click the call button in the chat.
Yes.
There.
I do have a question here that I'd love to ask. This is from Karen. She said, I saw you in San Francisco in a round-heeled woman and had a chance to meet you through your assistant, Deb. What a treat. Do you have any plans to do any more live theater, Sharon? Big fan of anything that you do.
Thank you. That San Francisco production was the first for Round-Heeled Woman. The press slammed me. There were only 2 people, but they slammed me. But we went on. The audience was nice. That play in Miami, and it brought us into the West End of London. So that was such a wonderful ride. I'm glad you got to see it when it was just getting on its feet. Thank you. I love that play. I just
Did you
talked
do any more theater?
What did you say?
She asked if you're going to do any more theater.
Well, Renee Taylor wants me to do my book as a one-woman show. Have you read it?
I do too. I think it's such a beautiful book, and when you read the book, you feel like a girlfriend. You feel like you're just talking to a girlfriend about what's happened in your life. Feels very conversational and intimate at the same time. I think it would lend itself very well to doing a live show. So that's just my 2 cents.
Mary Lee on.
Mary Lee?
No, that wasn't Mary Lee. It was someone from San Francisco that asked that question.
I don't know. If Renee Taylor has her way, I may.
Yeah. And Renee Taylor gets her way.
She's very
persuasive. There's a question here for Barney. We just lost the chat. I was asking, I think, about whether, Barney, is there anything that you would like that would get you to get in the saddle again and produce something? Is there anything
no.
you're looking at?
There is nothing that can be said or done that will get me to do it again. Absolutely.
Wow.
I gave at the office. I'm done. I'm done. It's I don't have the temperament for it anymore. Little things throw me. The refrigerator doesn't work well. If we're out of seltzer, I fall apart. You got to be much more even tempered and much more easy than I am now. I was in good shape in those days, emotionally and mentally, and I was very stable. I was the daddy. You're the daddy, the father confessor, the head cop, the priest. You're all those things, and you've got to be prepared to put in every bit of an 18-hour day, 7 days a week. I couldn't do that anymore. I would love to have a couple of ideas I'd love to give to people who I trust and just leave them alone to do it. But nobody trusts me. They all think nobody wants to go into business with an 800-pound gorilla, which is how they perceive me. So they don't believe me that I'm now a benign force. So no, the answer is no. I'm not going back. But thank you for asking. I was good. I was good at it. I wouldn't be good at it today.
Yeah, you have such an amazing life and career. You're in a different phase of life now, and there's
absolutely.
This phase as well. and we love that you're writing. I'm just excited to read.
Yeah, I better find reading for me. I mean, I just finished a first draft. I just finished a major tome, which is like an autobiography. Which, as I wrote it, the conceit of the book is that you, the reader, have already read Cagney and Lacey, the book about Cagney and Lacey that I wrote. So I'm not going to write about Cagney and Lacey. It's all the stuff that happened before and some stuff that happened after. It has nothing to do with Cagney and Lacey at all. Well, I sent it to a very good friend of Sharon's and mine, but better Sharon than mine, who's very knowledgeable about books. And she wrote back. She really did a great critique for me. But the bottom line is she doesn't think it could be published, that anybody will care. And that's sort of deflated my balloon a little bit, you know. So, but I'm going to keep at it because I want to answer her questions and I want to make it better, deeper, richer, fuller, better, as Ty Daly's mother used to say. But there's a very small group of people in the world who would have any interest in reading a book that's about me. And when I'm rational, I know that. Sometimes my ego just overwhelms everything. I say, "Oh, of course."
Well, Cagney and Lacey and Me was a great book.
It is a good book. It's a very good book, and I got a review. The Publishers Weekly said it was
Okay,
best.
there I am.
She is Renee.
Yes.
Hey,
Hello, Renee.
Hi. So how about doing Cagney and Lacey and reruns?
Well, I have no control over that. I don't own the show. You know, it's
on
out there.
They're
It's on Amazon, I think, or MGM Plus. It's out there,
So why don't you get a letter writing campaign that again? Why don't you get a letter writing campaign?
Right?
Yeah, well, you're ascribing an energy level to me that you have, because you're young and vital, and you know
Fabulous.
have all those great qualities. I'm an alta cocker, Renee. Give me a break.
Oh God! I think you're younger than me.
Only chronological.
Surely.
Oh.
Only chronological.
Oh. All it takes is a tremendous capacity to inhale aggravation.
The inhalation of aggravation. I got it. Okay.
There's nobody like you, Renee.
That's what
Thank
talent is. That's what talent is.
Right. I'm a sucker for this woman, you know. I think I mentioned I've been to her play 6 times. You know, funny, insightful, bright, interesting lady.
Oh, well, you want it? Did I tell you that my play is going to be done at the Marilyn Monroe Theater this summer, and Elaine May is going to direct it.
The Marilyn Monroe Theater in New York.
Directing it. Wow.
That's amazing.
I'll be there.
We'll come.
We'll be there. Renee's
I
coming to
think
my birthday party.
I'll even buy a ticket.
Barney, I think there's a series in it.
I bet there is. I wish I knew a producer.
But find me one as sexy as you. Did you find that a handicap?
Thank you, darling.
Was that a handicap?
Is this a heavy cap?
No, was it a handicap being so sexy as a producer?
It was in a handicap.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, yes.
I don't even know how to. I wish I had a good answer for that one. I'm going to work on that, though. I've never been accused of being particularly sexy in the past, but I think I'm sexier now that I'm old.
Good.
Because I'm safe. You know, it's like you know, the Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera always approached the woman from behind. You know, never was overly aggressive. Never, you know, you don't want to have some, you know, pushy guy. And now I'm sort of, you know, obviously handicapped or reduced in size and in power, so I'm sexier. That's it. But I wish it was true when I was younger. Youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you
Sure
should
is.
do a one man show. Maybe you could do a one man show.
So I've got the ego for that. That I could do. But just nobody. My problem is nobody would come. But I mean, I don't need much of an audience. You know, if you were there, I could do it. I just
Okay. I would call it aggravation. I have known.
Renee's coming to my birthday party in Miami.
Yes, I am.
I went to her birthday.
to Miami for the faux birthday party.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. That's sweet. Thank you.
Well, I have.
The only person there I know.
It's potluck, so I'm going to bring some. I'm making some tuna fish salad sandwiches.
Oh, okay. Works for me.
Great. I told her about you before I met you. That tuna. I said, "What should I serve on the set when I interview Renee?" I heard she loves tuna fish salad sandwich. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Anything with mayonnaise. Anything with mayonnaise is fine with me.
Anything, me too. Me too. I love tuna with
Mayonnaise. That's the staff of life.
Me too.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee.
I love you both.
It was sweet of you showing up. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Renee.
Okay, bye. Let somebody ask
What's
some
that?
questions that are easy to answer.
I didn't understand.
Again, Renee?
Say that one more time.
Let somebody else ask questions that are easier to answer.
Right, okay.
Right, exactly.
Okay. I think
There's
they
a
went
really
over.
good one that's come up on the
My
screen.
seltzer says I do. Thank you.
There was a really
Thank you,
this
Renee.
Nina says, I don't know where Nina's from, but she says, I have post-it notes. Hold on, I just lost it. I have post-it notes in my mirror. Hold on.
On your mirror.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it to say. Can you read that question? I have post-it notes on my mirror. Do you have a life lesson that I can write and post on my mirror that you live by? Any hints on? Sorry, I lost the
Believe in your dreams. I swear to God, I did. And it happened.
I'm in flux.
Unknown. I was unknown. And I dreamed that I was going to be an actress. And by God, it happened.
Yeah.
Don't
Dream
ever
the
be
dream.
afraid. You can. But that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Beautiful.
I have a thing.
Read it.
Well, I
What?
can't go get it because
You
I
wrote
don't
it?
have trousers.
I don't like trousers. Oh, get over. So
Okay.
there's a lot of questions, Ryan, that
A
I
lot
can't.
of questions.
There's just crazy amount.
Let me know if you see a
Warren
question
would
after
say,
that, and I'll
Barney,
send it to
you
you.
are an excellent writer. So, barring the book, please continue your blog.
I'm sorry. What?
Please, they're asking you to please continue your blog.
Oh, I like writing. I love writing the blog. I just finished
He's
one
a
this
wonderful
morning.
writer.
I love doing that. I do those so fast. I just whip them out. They take me about 15 minutes to write. They take me about 2 days to rewrite. But fun for me to do. The struggle I'm having now is with this book I was talking about. I realize that introspection and depth is not my strength. I'm a very glib, very superficial kind of a storyteller, maybe even a person. I don't know. So it's hard for me now because this person, this friend of ours, Marcia, who commented on the book, says great structure, great bones, great writing, no heart. Now, okay, so now I realize, I wrote this book. It's all about my life, right? I wrote the book about my life. I never mentioned the death of either of my parents. Never mentioned the death of my brother. Wow, that's interesting. So now I got to go back and figure out, A, how to put it in. Do I want that in there? And what do I feel about it? It's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't do. You know, I'm a very glib kind of a guy.
But can I offer you something in that regard, Barney? Because can I offer you some just a thought in that regard?
Sure.
You are quite open, and you when prompted, you go there, and you go there with a lot of color and a lot of descriptives, and you're not really afraid to go there. So I actually don't agree. You may be glib, but you have a lot of heart. You just maybe need, while the writing is happening, to kind of be guided in those areas so that you will then let it out. I know it doesn't come naturally, but you certainly are not afraid to go there in my experience, my limited experience.
Well, thank you for that. I just it's something I'm going to just have to plunge into. It's an amazing amount of work. This thing is a very large tome. So I have made the decision as recently as this weekend that, okay, I'm going to tackle it, but I'm going to restrict myself to 2 hours a day. I'm going to punch in and punch out like a job for 2 hours every day and answer Marcia's questions and try to expand the thing, but then when the 2 hours is up, I quit. And the next day I'll go start it again, because otherwise it'll dominate my whole life. I'll never get away from the computer, and I'll wind up, being a cripple for not moving around. So anyway, it's all foreign to me. And it's harder because I know there's no end result. It's just the end result is just going to exist. And I don't know who would read it.
Well, but I want to say one more thing to that, because you were saying before, who's going to be interested? But I also invite you to recognize that you're a human being, and you happen to be a human being who's contributed a lot to our culture and society, our culture and our business and the world. So
one of the problems,
are you a human being that has the range of emotions that we all feel? You're also going to be a contributor. So I think a lot of people on that level would love to hear what you have to say. I know.
Well, one of the problems with the book is that if you take Cagney and Lacey out, it's all about struggle with no payoff.
Right.
And so, there's no happy ending, But I don't want to go over that terrain again. I'm happy to go over Cagney and Lacey, talk about it. All anybody wants to talk about it. I love to talk about it, but I don't want to write it.
Say that again, Sharon.
I said, happy ending. Hi.
Oh, sweetheart. You're right. By the way, hello, you're right. And I say that. I say that the happiest time of my life, the last 25 years of my life, the last quarter century is the happiest I've ever been. With all the success that happened before that of Cagney and Lacey, all the other accolades, the awards, all that stuff. I say that in the book, that I've never been happier than I am here with my wife on Fisher Island. That's the best part of my life.
Beautiful.
I do say that. But I'm giving that, what I repeated was one of Marcia's notes. It's going, too much struggle and not enough, success.
Gotcha. I understand. Sharon,
that was my favorite.
Success, Barney. You've had more success than most.
But it's not in the book, because the book takes that part of the success is out of there. This is a academic conversation for another time, another venue.
Yes, another interview.
Anything else? We have any other questions about?
Yes, I want to just know that Sharon was going to read the wall. Sharon, yeah.
I collect these cards. These cards, and I collect them, and I select that are my feelings and how to gain success. And so I picked, and I took them to my favorite framers in LA, and put it together, and it hangs on my wall. So a woman recently just said, ask the secret to my success, or I don't remember. And it, would help her. I'm going to read to you these cards.
Yes.
Okay, the first one says, watch with glittering eyes the whole around you, because the greatest secrets are hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe will never find it. That's one. Another one says, never, never, never. Here's another. Life isn't about
That one to yourself.
I beg your pardon?
Read that last one to yourself every day, please.
Yeah. Okay, the next is finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Here's another. Time. Be a strength and courage. Share your wisdom. Create love. Here's another. Life is infinitely stranger than the mind could invent. Be bold, free, and truthful. Remember what is important to you. What if we just things easy? The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. That's Helen Keller. I think it's also The Little Prince. Here's another one. Do more of what. Here's the second to the last. Courage does not always roar. Courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow.
There you go.
And the very last one says,
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Sharon.
very welcome.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much, Barney. Thank you for.
You should hang them less and read them more.
Yes, you're right.
We should come on once a week and just have you read that, because that's
Really
very touching and impactful. Ryan, I mean, we have a gajillion questions. I think.
Is it time to go?
I think we're done, huh? No?
I think so. Do you feel like it's time to go? I think it is. I feel very full and very.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? May I ask you a question? Antoinette, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
So this show we did together earlier, that's going to be on YouTube for a long time.
Forever.
What about this thing we just did? Does this stay anywhere, or is this just in the internet?
Ryan can answer that. Because we're cutting this together. So I'm sorry, I said you can answer, and then I jumped in like a bossy Brooklyn girl. Everyone who's on camera has its own camera, so we are able to cut this together and put this as a piece. We typically, this just lives in the moment, and we don't post it, because some of it,
I'm just curious.
We like to do a finished product. So I hope that answers your question. We usually typically will cut this together and put another, maybe give it to you, or maybe repost it.
Okay.
Would you like to have it?
And the cameras look better than how they look here. It's just that.
I mean, this is
just
not, this quality. Yeah. It's all beautiful quality once it's cut together. There's nothing blurry or fuzzy, no audio glitches or anything like that.
Right.
So, okay. Cool.
Well, thank you. And if anybody's still watching out there, thank you all for participating. I had a good time.
I love you, Antoinette.
I love you, Sharon. Gless.
Thank you for
Right, you're not getting any strokes, right? We're good.
Right, Barney?
Say something nice to Ryan. He's not getting any strokes in him. Ryan, good guy.
Oh, right.
There's one bald guy to another. Let me tell you, you're all right, my boy.
Love you.
Well, thank you. It's
Antoinette.
It's all love.
Antoinette, you're the best.
Thank you.
Can I wanted to ask one question. I don't know if anyone asked, but would you ever co-sign a remake, or have they done that with with Charlie's Angels and
Yes,
those
yes,
movies.
yes.
Did you ever see?
First of all, I don't have the rights to stop someone from remaking it. The underlying rights are with the MGM Studios. But they have to consult with me. I have a contractual interest, both financial and creative, so that they have to consult me. Now, they've done this once. They went off without doing that, without consulting me. And they started getting ready to make the show, and I found out about it, and I reminded them they should read their contract with me. Because they can't find the contract. The reality is it was written before there were computers. It's sitting in a box somewhere, like one of the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's all these contracts are in a warehouse somewhere.
Right.
So they have to take my word for it that they got a contract. And I produced my side of the contract, which reminded them. They said, oops. So right away, they gave me some money, not a lot, but they gave me what they owed me for what we negotiated. And then they said, go ahead and consult. Well, by then, the thing was so far along that I was a real fifth wheel. And they weren't real interested in listening to me. I was very, very easy. I try to really live within the universe they were creating. And I made the most simple suggestions. And they were inflexible. They didn't want to do any of them. They made a show.
One thing he said, and I saw it. It was.
They listened to everything I said, disregarded it, and then they made it, and it was awful. And it never saw the light of day. It was really terrible. And it was a shame because, it could have been something.
Not very smart. Not very smart.
Well, I can see a lot of reasons for not listening to me. I can hear a lot of reasons for saying we don't care what he has to say. But there is no question, there is no greater authority on the subject of Cagney and Lacey than me. No one knows more about what you can and what you can't do. No one knows more about what works and what doesn't work. No one knows more about those characters. And you can change them a little bit here and there, but you got to there's certain basics. And some attention to detail. I'll give you one example. I mean, we got some time, right?
Yeah. Barney, they need to.
It has nothing to do with character and has nothing to do with who Cagney is, who Lacey is. In the piece, they're going after a bad guy who they know is left-handed. Evidence shows that the guy had to be a left-handed guy. They keep arresting people, and they find out they're right-handed, and they let him go. So all through the thing, they're talking about it. He's left-handed. He's got to be left-handed. Now, at the end of the piece, they find a guy, and he's in a car, and they approach him from both sides. They stop him on a supposed traffic stop. And the two women, Cagney on one side, Lacey on the other side, and Cagney sees that he's got a gun. Where's the gun? On his right hip, making him right-handed. And I say guys, he's got to be left-handed. Well, we couldn't see the gun on the left side. So we did. This is like a little attention to detail. I said, fellas, you can't do that. Put it behind him. Retake. It's just an insert shot. Retake that one piece. They wouldn't do it. And they said, no one will notice. No one will notice.
That is so awful.
They didn't know what.
There's a lack of attention to detail. God, as Ray Dalio would say, God is in the details. And that's, so you have to pay attention to stuff. So that was,
they made it about the kid. Two women.
Yeah. Anyway, the whole thing was like that.
Yeah. It's good.
So no one will notice. It was a great quote from that.
I have to say, Barney, you have a brilliant mind. You have a brilliant mind.
What?
You're a brilliant mind. A brilliant mind.
And honey, they need
You're an old guy.
Barn, they need to sign off.
Listen, I adore you both. I loved that last story. That was the best. I loved everything about the two of you.
And not to the point, but anyway. Yeah, Ryan, if you want to do a remake of Cagney Lacey, Gegazint, as they say. I wish you well luck, and maybe MGM will listen to you, and probably not, but you give a shot, and then I make some money, so that would be great. And you and I could work together a little bit. Because you would listen to me, I know.
I think this has been a success.
You're a good listener. I can tell that already. So,
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Maybe one day we'll do it again.
Thank you.
Please. Barney,
Thank
what